Hey, Eagle fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into Philadelphia Eagles Now, and today it is the official 53-man roster release day. Yes, all the cuts have been made, and the Eagles roster, all 53 of them, are exactly where I think some of us expected them to be, but there were a lot of surprise cuts as well, so we're going to break it all down for you guys here today on this video. Before we actually start, though, the big news today, besides the cuts, is that the Eagles are still, according to multiple sources, still trying to go ahead and trade Alshon Jeffery. Now, Jeffery is on the final 53-man roster. We'll talk more about that here in a second, but they tried to trade him since last year, right? We've heard this for months and months and months. They're trying to trade Alshon Jeffery. The problem is no one's going to trade for him because of the massive contract and the dead cap money and all that mess in terms of his deal that teams do not want to go ahead and acquire. So, as I've said before, even though there is this brand new, Alshon Jeffery wants to be traded again, or the Eagles are trying to trade Alshon Jeffery again, the odds of it happening are probably not going to happen. I expect Jeffery to be a Philadelphia Eagle this year, and I expect him especially to be healthy after the first couple of weeks and actually playing in Philadelphia as one of the starting wide receivers in Carson Wentz's offense. Now, before we get to the actual roster cuts, should they trade Alshon Jeffery? That's our first question of the day. Type Y down below for yes, type N down below for no. Let's start with the cuts, though. Let's start with all of the cuts, and then we'll get into the actual 53-man roster. We'll go with running backs first. I am shocked they cut Elijah Holyfield. And guess what? If you saw my final roster projection, I went in-depth on how they're going to keep Elijah Holyfield. They're going to keep 4 running backs. Holyfield's going to be there for sure. He had a great camp. I have no idea why they cut him. I guess they're just so confident in Miles Sanders being the number 1 running back. They're going to feed him the football, and they didn't want to go ahead and waste another roster spot on a running back, I guess, in Elijah Holyfield, who would not be able to get a lot of touches. Now, let me just say this. Every single player who was cut can still be signed back on Monday as one of the 16 practice squad players, so I have a very good feeling that Elijah Holyfield probably either gets picked up somewhere else or will be a practice squad guy, but I was absolutely shocked Holyfield was cut. Killingsworth, not so much because Holyfield played better than them the entire training camp. Deontay Burnett, to me, was an absolute shocker at wide receiver. I thought he was going to be their 7th or 8th wide receiver. He had a very good training camp. I was surprised to see him go. The rest of the wide receiver cuts, no surprise here. Tyrone Swoop's a guy, obviously, out of Texas. They thought they could go ahead and acquire him later on in the training camp. They're not going to let him go now. No surprises there. And then on the offensive line side of things, the only real surprise I have is Prince Tegawanogo, who a lot of people said was a future prospect who could be very, very good on the offensive line. Again, I expect Wanogo to be one of those practice squad guys as well, along with Sua Opeta, and along with Julian Good-Jones as well. So a lot of these guys are probably going to be ones that you're going to go ahead and see as practice squad players probably on Monday, and we'll break all that down, I'm sure, next week at some point. But big surprise there is probably going to go ahead and be Elijah Holyfield. On the defensive side of the football, Raequan Williams, a guy who they gave a lot of undrafted free agent money to, a lot of guaranteed money to. The issue is the Eagles had too many defensive tackles who are way better than Raequan Williams. So Williams is going to be obviously let go, but they're most likely going to bring him back as a practice squad guy. In terms of DN guys, no real surprise here. Osman was the one guy that potentially could have been another defensive end, but obviously they have better guys in front of him. They let him go. The real shockers of the day is not the cutting of Sidney Jones or the cutting of Rasul Douglas. It's the cutting of both of them at cornerback. They let both of them go, basically saying, hey, you guys are not good enough to even make this team. They're not going to re-sign them as practice squad guys. Obviously, Douglas and Jones will probably get picked up somewhere else, but an absolutely massive surprise. I thought for sure one or the other would make it. I was a big Sidney Jones fan at the beginning of training camp. I got off that train as you guys recommended, I sold that stock. I bought into the Rasul Douglas stock. I thought he was going to go ahead and make the final roster, and guess what? He did not. And so both of these young cornerbacks the Eagles have tried to be good. They just never turned out to be. They were up and down their entire careers, and now both of them let go. That hopefully means the Eagles are very confident in the cornerbacks they have so far on the active roster, and we'll break down the roster here in just one second. And the final cut, obviously, is Elijah Riley and Grayland Arnold. Grayland Arnold out of Baylor, I thought could be a surprise safety guy to make the roster. I think he will be a practice squad guy as well. Just needs to kind of get some more actual NFL studying and playing time. And the Eagles are very deep at safety, so it makes sense that he was let go. Which release surprised you the most? Let me know down below in the comments section. For me, it's Holyfield. The Holyfield one shocked me, but if you have a release that surprised you more than Holyfield, probably second-round draft pick Sidney Jones or Rasul Douglas, let me know down below in the comment section. Quickly, the injuries. Obviously, there are a couple here you guys are going to have to see on IR, and both also the PUP list. Andre Dillard's on IR. He's done for the year. Brandon Brooks is going to be on the PUP list, so technically, later on in the year, maybe a postseason run, he could return. And Jeffery, the question, I think he's going to actually be on the active roster, but he could technically be PUP, but he's most likely not going to be. That way, they can have him on the active roster and ready to go for whenever he's healthy for week 2, 3, 4, whenever it actually is. All right, here's your actual depth chart, your actual 53-man roster and depth chart. Quarterback, simple. Wentz, Sudfeld, and Jalen Jalen Hurts. Not a surprise here, right? Carson Wentz is the quarterback. They have 2 good backups. That's the end of the discussion when it comes to quarterback. Running backs, there you go. They kept 3. That they would keep 4, they keep 3 instead, and that tells you that Miles Sanders, 1, is healthy and good to go as the number 1 running back week 1, and 2, they're going to use Miles Sanders as much as I have said they're going to use Miles Sanders this year, so that's good news for all Miles Sanders fantasy owners. Here are your 7 wide receivers. Obviously, Jeffery is there, but the starters week 1 will be Jackson, Whiteside, Hightower, Ward, and Watkins. You see Reagor obviously not going to be on the PUP list, even though he probably will miss week 1 with that shoulder injury, but they keep 7. I thought they might keep 8 just based on what happened last year, but I guess they're going to go ahead and keep some. I'm sure Deontay Burnett will go ahead and be a practice squad wide receiver they can call up, just like Greg Ward was called up last season whenever they had a plethora of injuries there at wide receiver. Which wide receiver are you most excited about to watch this year? I was going to say Jalen Reagor, but I've changed my mind. Deshaun Jackson is healthy. He's thinking comeback player of the year. I think Jackson has a massive year. He's the most excited player in terms of a wide receiver that I am looking to watch and excited about this year. Before we keep going, there are some great face mask deals that I am excited about right now. Chatsports.com/Eagles mask has all of your Eagles face mask needs. They have the number 1, or the 1-pack, which is a regular face mask plus a neck sleeve. They have a 2-pack, and you get Carson Wentz's logo on there and his jersey and his number. And then, of course, the 3-pack and the 4-pack and the variety combos. That way you and your loved ones can be safe and look good repping the Eagles. All those links are down below in the description box. Pick them up right now. Chatsports.com/Eagles mask. Tight ends, Ertz and Goddard. Is there a surprise there? Arguably the 2 best tight ends in terms of tight end groups in the National Football League. There are better tight ends. Some people will say Kelsey, some people will say Kittle, but the Eagles have 2 great tight ends in Ertz and Goddard. Big year coming from Dallas Goedert. The O-line is the big question mark this year, especially going into week 1 because of all the injuries, but it will be Pryor at left tackle, Samuel at left guard, Kelsey there at center, Peters at right guard, and Lane Johnson there at right tackle. The second stringers are going to be Urbig, Driscoll, and Jordan Mailata, with Brooks, of course, being on the PUP list. They brought back 10 defensive linemen, which is not a surprise because I like to rotate guys in there, but a couple of the names are a surprise here. Obviously, Avery makes the cut, Vinny Curry makes the cut, and Casey Toohill, the final draft pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, obviously being a draft pick, makes the cut over some other undrafted free agents. Your linebackers are concerning, but they're going to keep 6, and I think they keep 6 for a reason, and that, of course, is if they are struggling as starters, you could call up your rookies in a.k.a. Sean Bradley or Davion Taylor. Give me a name for a practice squad player you want to see on the practice squad right now. Go down below and give me a name. I think Holyfield and Deontay Burnett are 2 guys I want to see on the practice squad, but if you have another name, let me know down below in the comment section. They're going to keep 11 defensive backs between the safeties and the cornerbacks. Obviously, your starters are going to be Slade, Nikhil Roby-Coleman, like you guys said, Jalen Mills, Rodney McLeod, and Avonte Maddox. Of course, if Avonte Maddox needs to be healthy week 1, we'll have more details on that in a coming video later this week. Your second stringers are Cravon LeBron, Craig James. Congratulations, Craig James, on a brand new contract. And, of course, Will Parks and Kayvon Wallace are your 2 backup safeties, with Ruby Ford and Marcus Epps being the third stringers, who will probably be special teamers. They'll be gunners. They'll be kick return guys, as most third-string safeties and DBs are. Again, Craig James, Cravon LeBlanc, they outplayed Sidney Jones and Rasul Douglas. That is what is inevitably clear today based on what happened in the cuts, leaving, Rasul Douglas and Sidney Jones much higher draft picks than Craig James and Cravon LeBlanc, but obviously both of them are going to be on the team. Craig James even got a contract extension, and Douglas and Jones obviously let go. Your 3 specialists are Jake Elliott, Cameron Johnston, and Rick Lovato. No surprise there. Elliott coming into another season in Philadelphia where he's been a very consistent kicker over the past couple of seasons. Yes, he has missed kicks, but every kicker missed kicks. He's been very, very good so far throughout his Eagles career. Johnston in a contract year. Hopefully he punts well the way he gets a new deal. And then Rick Lovato, one of the better long snappers in the into the entire National Football League. Grade the final Eagles roster. Give me a grade on this roster. 53 men. Right, the cuts are here. This is what the Eagles will work with at least starting in week 1. Give me a grade. I think it's a B+ or an A-. I think it's a good roster overall. A couple of surprise moves here and there. They kind of wanted an extra defensive lineman and some extra safeties over having extra wide receivers and running backs, but that just shows you the confidence that they have and the running backs that they have and the wide receivers as well. So give me you guys this final roster grade down below in the comment section. There you go, though. All time we have for today here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. Obviously, wanted to go ahead and jump on the channel and get this video out as quickly as possible. Had to wait till 4 p.m. Eastern time here on the East Coast to get the official rosters, and now we do, and that's the initial full breakdown for you guys here. As we always do, the best Eagle coverage on YouTube and the fastest Eagle coverage as well, getting stuff to you as quickly as possible. All time we have for today here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. I am your host, Thomas Mott. We go ahead and sign off. Plenty more coverage upcoming in the days and weeks, so stay tuned for that, as week 1, depending on if you watch this video on Saturday, is 8 days away. Right? Tomorrow will be 7. Get excited. Football is coming up. I cannot wait at all. Again, all time me out for a day here in Philadelphia Eagles Now. I'm Thomas Mott signing off. To the rest of your day.